Hello.
Hello, sir.
How's it going?
It's going very well. I'm having fun. How you doing?
Good. It's really nice to watch, and it's so effective. I mean, the difference between a first take and a second is amazing. So it's really nice to watch, and I hope I can do as well.
You can and you will. Yeah, yeah. And like you said, do you like Leo or Leonardo?
Leo's fine.
Right, Leo. That's the thing too that I love about this way of working, right? Which is that you just see it right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's no denying it. And again, my own experience for years being in acting classes that I pretended made sense but didn't make sense. Like when you're in that acting class where you're like the teacher's working with someone forever, and finally they're like, "Now do you see?" And you're thinking, like, "No."
No.
But I guess, do you know what I mean? Or they make someone
Absolutely.
cry, right? And they're just like, "Wow, isn't that amazing?" And it's like, well, they were crying, but I'm not sure that you want to see that in the audition. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's almost frustrating to see what a difference it makes in a matter of like 1 minute, because to see with those two performances, three actually, but on a more serious note, it really seemed like they broke down the whole scene on different beats and different thoughts, or, suppressing the emotion instead of pushing it. And you're like, it took a minute. Like,
Right.
how?
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know. It's like a lot of actors, when they come to my class, they're like, "Oh my God, I spent how many thousands of dollars a year for like the 9-week course and
You see, exactly.
That's
what I mean. Yeah.
And again, it's born out of, years of experience of me, like
No, of course,
practically working and everything. But no, absolutely. It's that, because that's what it came from for me, was like, I need this to work practically, and I need to work.
Exactly. It has to work in a matter of hours or less, because that's the timing of an audition. You get it, you have to do it.
Absolutely, man. And I love, guys, what Leo said, which is it with everybody we saw, even that lovely commercial audition, right? They all seemed, because they were all so moment to moment, that it seemed like, oh my God, the actor must have worked forever.
Exactly.
To come up with all those moments, and then worked it forever for weeks and weeks to make it appear so natural. But what's happening, what we're watching happening, is it's actually moment to moment, meaning they're not making the moments up, they're just happening.
Yeah.
And so it's filled with moment to moment work, because none of it's crafted. It's just like we surf the action stream, we go after the action, and these bubbles of moments are just coming up. Yeah. And again, the exact opposite of, I think another way to say it, with a lot of acting classes, they're not even really teaching acting. It's really like a class where I will direct you, and I will direct you on how to do each line, and then I'll get mad at you when you don't do it believably and honestly, right? Because I would be in acting classes when I was younger, and they would tell me how it should be, and then I would do it, and they're like, "But I don't believe that." And it's like, but that's what I'm paying you for. Like, how do I make it believable? If I knew that, like, I wouldn't
need you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Good. So let's play. So tell us what I have here is the scene.
Yes.
The scene one with Aiden and Zoe. And tell us, what is this from?
This is from an audition I did a couple of months ago.
Great. And what is the breakdown on the character of Aiden? Do you have it, or do you remember it?
I do. Basically, he's a carefree dude, traveled for the last 2 years. He finished, high school, and he has this laid back attitude, go with the flow, little career ambition. He's handsome, charming. He's a guitar player, charismatic. And then with his laid back attitude, he actually gets to flirt with this character, Zoe, and they kind of build up a relationship. That's what it says.
Great. And so, and tell us what would you say in the simplest way, what's literally happening in this scene?
What's literally happening is they start playing, they're playing tennis at the Wii, and they have a confrontation on, she seems, I'm trying to make it simple, but it's harder. I'm struggling with making it simple. Yeah. She's confronting him on what she thinks life should be. And he's saying, no, you shouldn't be so stressed about life in general. Just take it each day as it comes. So
I think that's great. I think that's a really good non-interpretational take on what's literally happening, right? So we got the breakdown, and we got that. Now I have a couple ideas but did you have any ideas on what an essential action might be?
Yes. I just listening to what you said so far, I thought that to wake you up to the truth, or at least to what my truth is, might work. But let's hear your suggestions.
Yeah, I have something similar. But actually, before we do that, let's just read it. Let's just do it. You know, do it like you've done it before, or just let it rip however you want to let it rip, and then we'll play with it. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Nice shot. Your forehand's not very pretty, but it's hella strong.
Well, thank you for that backhanded compliment. See, that was a tennis. You do know there are way newer gaming consoles out there, right?
Well, why mess with perfection?
Okay. So you finished college, then did the whole backpacking through Thailand thing.
Yeah. No, it was amazing to immerse myself in such an ancient culture.
Like seeing the Grand Palace and going to all those Buddhist temples? I hear the floating markets are amazing.
No, I don't know any about that. I mostly did shrooms on the beach.
Cool.
Yeah.
So like, what are your plans for the future, Aiden?
Well, I was thinking about pizza tonight, but then I'm like, do I really want to chain myself to pizza?
I meant slightly longer term plans.
Oh, you mean like career goals? I'll figure it out when I figure it out, or not. I don't focus on this kind of stuff.
How can you not?
Do you?
Pretty much all the time.
Wow. You're exactly like you used to be when you babysit me. You shouldn't stress so much. It's not good for you. You gotta take life as it comes, you know? Each day as it comes, enjoy life. Come on, go with the flow, woman.
Are you for real?
What do you mean? And scene.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Cool stuff, my friend. Cool stuff. My wife texted me and said, OMG, he's adorable. So that's a great compliment from my wife.
Thank you.
She thinks you're adorable. Now she's going to send me another text after I said that. Great. Very, very nice, man. So now let's play with it a little bit.
Yes.
And sort of building on what you were thinking, does this make sense in a if we said this in a very simple way, convince someone that you are totally over it and at peace?
I like it. Let me just write that down. Yes, it does. In a very simple way.
In a very simple way, convince someone that you are totally over it and at peace.
That.
And my wife also says you're adorable in a talented, professional way. That's what she meant.
Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. So in a very simple way, convince someone that you were totally over it and at peace.
I like it.
If this makes sense, what I was thinking that an as if might work is can you imagine hanging out with a good friend of yours and you've gone through a breakup fairly recently, and your good friend is asking you, are you still messed up about it? Are you having trouble sleeping or whatever? And you really want to, in a simple, really convince him kind of way, just let him know that like, no, I'm totally over it and I'm at total peace. You're not.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. I probably wouldn't be, but.
Right. But you for real want to convince him. You for real want it to come off like I'm totally over this thing and I'm at peace.
I got it. Yep. Absolutely. Great. I have the people.
Great. So you know the breakup and you know the friend you're talking to?
Yes. Yep.
Great. So we'll do the exercise that you've seen me do, and all you have to do is follow along. Okay?
Okay.
So close your eyes and be there wherever you're at with the friend, your place, their place, and you're hanging out and they're asking you about this breakup that actually you are broken up about. But You want to convince the friend that you were totally over it and at peace. And watch yourself in your mind try to convince them. And they're just looking at you. They're not saying anything. So you have to keep going. But everything is based on what you see in the other. How is what you're doing affecting them? You really want to convince them. What would they look like if they were convinced? And when I say open your eyes, you're going to open your eyes and you're going to keep doing the improv, but now it's to me. And everything you're doing will be based on what you see in me, not imagining the friend anymore, not imagining me, I'm saying anything I'm not, but still do the improv as if I'm your friend. And when I say scene, we'll go to the scene, but I don't want you to worry about any blocking, forget about the video game, none of that. You just want to let those lines mean anything and just be doing the same thing to me with the lines that you're doing in the improv, okay? And I might take us back and forth, or we might just, let it go. But we'll start with that improv. Open your eyes.
It's fine. For real. I've been doing a lot lately and I've been enjoying it, surfing a lot and also being active, my work, my career. And it's been great. I haven't thought about her in like over a month. So it's really, everything is fine. And I'm really enjoying it.
Scene.
Nice shot. You don't have a very nice forehand, but hey, it's hella strong.
Well, thank you for that backhanded compliment. See, that was a tennis.
Yeah.
You do know there are way newer gaming consoles out there, right?
Well, why mess with perfection?
Okay. So you finished college, then did the whole backpacking thing through Thailand.
Yes, it was amazing to immerse myself in such an ancient culture.
Like seeing the Grand Palace and going to those Buddhist temples. I hear the floating markets are amazing.
I don't know about any of that. I mostly did shrooms on the beach. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for the future, Aiden?
Well, I was thinking about pizza tonight, but then I'm like, do I really want to change myself to pizza?
I meant slightly longer term plans.
Oh, you mean like career goals? I'll figure it out when I figure it out, or not. I don't worry about this kind of stuff.
How can you not?
Do you?
Pretty much all the time.
Wow. You're exactly like you were when you used to babysit me. You gotta stop worrying so much. It's not good for you. Just gotta take each day as it comes. Gotta enjoy life. Go with the flow, woman.
Are you for real?
What do you mean?
Excellent, man. That was so much fun. Wow. Everybody's just knocking out of the park here. That was so much fun, man. And, for the people watching, and again, if you could see all the hundreds of people, you could see the reactions. You'd be like, what, really? That just happened? Because look, man, it was so simple and so grounded and so natural. And guys, what he did was a great example of staying on the action and not giving a fuck about the lines, not giving a fuck about the blocking. He was just doing that thing to me. And if he had to look down, whenever he had to look down, we didn't even notice or we didn't care because he was on the action. Where the first time you did it, it was like, let me make sure I get this part and I don't want to fuck up this part. And none of that was there. And it just seemed like we've seen with everybody tonight, but it really struck me, Leo, was like, this seems like a total professional. it seemed like someone who's, and I mean this sincerely, to me, it seemed like someone who's already on television, someone who's already a working actor is just auditioning for this other thing. And because there was, again, like we've seen all night, there was no character. It was just you really doing something to me. And I love that as if an action we came up for you, because of course, anybody who is really trying to appear confident and life doesn't work is usually very insecure in their covering, right? Yeah. And so that's why when you had that action of like, okay, I am really broken up about this, but in a real way, do you know what I mean? Like, I really want to convince my friend, and you did a good job of convincing me because it seemed like this guy has it all together. And suddenly, much like I said to Stephanie, it was so funny because you weren't trying to be funny. You were just playing the action. Like the first time you said the shrooms line, it was just like, okay, here's this line about shrooms. But that second time you did it, it was just like, this fucking guy. I mean, even me reading with you, it was just like, oh, this fucking guy, I can't believe this guy, right? Because you weren't thinking about, here comes the shrooms line. Do you know what I mean? Like, here comes this cute line. Here's where I'll be flirtatious. You were just like letting it rip and doing that one thing. And we were just with you the whole time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes sense. Plus, a cool thing that I really noticed is that doing that exercise before, anytime I felt that I might be going out of it, I had something clear to focus on you and get back right into it. So that was really cool.
Guys, so what Leo just said is one of the key components of this whole deal, right? Is we need something to come back to. And the thing we come back to, the thing that saves us, like it's often the case in life, it turns out to be the most obvious thing. The thing that saves us is the reader. It's all about the reader. What Leo just said, when I got lost, which he did, which is why the scene was so freaking, great, is because he was not pretending he wasn't lost. He was just coming back whenever he was lost. And he was coming back to me. So many actors make the mistake of going, I'm going to make this audition reader proof. Like, I'm just going to I want the reader, I want him to go away, her to go away. Just let me present this thing. When you're in the room, if you, before you even say your first line, and not even, this can be in the room and it can be on the self-tape. Before you say your first line, if you start playing the action in the silence, the whole room just goes like, what's going on, right? Because you're now doing something actual that's happening right now in this moment in time, in this moment in space. And it's totally unique. And one of the things I love about Zoom is like, and we didn't see this so much with you, but reflecting on Isela, her reception wasn't that good. We had to lean in to hear the audio, but the truth breaks through all of that, right? You were just like, oh my God, even if I can't hear the last line, it doesn't matter. This is real. I am so moved by this because you see the truth through all this, right? So I love how you talked about that because, guys, here's the thing, that at the audition, sometimes you hear people say like, oh, they're not judging you. Don't think that they're judging you. It's like, no, they're judging you. They are absolutely judging you. That's their job. The CD is like, is this person a good actor? Are they right for the role? I am judging this person. So when we're in this high octane situation that's bringing up these old childhood beliefs that like, there's, 8 people in the waiting room that look like a better looking version than me, or I'm doing this self-tape and sending it to the void. There's just so many things to fuck with us that we need something that is red hot. We need an anchor that is more interesting than our own neurosis. And as much as I hate my own neurosis, I also find it very fascinating because I continually get pulled back into it. So if we can make the as if and the action real red hot, and then as you just saw, Leonardo, we can warm up, and then the imagination allows us just to do that thing to the reader, and I become your anchor. Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
That's what I tell my students. When you get lost, just look the reader in the eye and remember what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And I saw it and I felt it working. So absolutely. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And this, again, what I just, you know, seen in everybody tonight, but obviously just saw in you, and for those watching, I think they could all see it as well. It's like, I often, the phrase that comes to mind is like, no muss, no fuss. You're like watching a professional. It's just like, he did it. We saw it. It was him. We were totally like, we knew it was going to be, we got taken for a ride, and then he's finished. And it's just like, what was that? Right? It was like watching anyone who is really good at what they do, and they're humble and they understand how to do it. They just do it. You know what I mean? And they,
yeah.
And part of the dazzling nature of it is they make it look so simple. You know, I'm not a very good tennis player, but I see two great people playing tennis, and I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah, because it looks so easy. It looks so easy. Yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing. An actor sees you do what you just did, and they're like, oh man, that's pretty easy. He was just being himself. He was just being natural. He was just being charming, being grounded. But that's not what you were doing. What you were doing was playing that action in a very specific way, and you revealed yourself to us, right? If we're trying to be natural, it doesn't come across as natural, right? If I try to be charming and grounded instead of teaching the class is not going to go so well, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Any other thoughts on the experience?
No, it was pretty cool and it worked. I felt it. I'm just concerned, or I have a question, like real quick. How would I actually do it when I'm at home, you know, doing it myself, and I have to do it actually? Should I just take like 1 minute, go through like a sort of speech like you gave me, in a sense, to put myself in that mood, a need, as if, you know, an action, and as if, and then just improv maybe a little bit and go in it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, in my classes, one of the things we work on is like doing it in class, just like we're really going to do it at home. Right. That's another thing I've found problematic about a lot of classes is that I've been in acting classes before where you spend 6 weeks working on a scene and you have to rehearse for 10 hours a week outside class and you bring it in. But then I get an audition for a 5-line cop. And I
can't do it. Exactly. And I can't do it.
I'm like, well, I can do Tennessee Williams if I have 6 months, but how do I do officer exposition here, right? So yeah, what I'm showing you guys today, you can begin to practice it, right? So what you can do is, if you have a reader that you're reading the scene with and you're taping it, what you can do is go like, hey, I'm going to do this improv exercise. I'm just going to do this improv in my mind. You know, you have the action, you have the as if, you do your improv in your mind, and then you tell your reader, like, I'm just going to do this improv with you. And either when I point at you, take a beat and then start the scene, or I'm just going to take a pause at some point and start the scene and just let it rip. Okay?
Absolutely.
And another thing that we might not get to really demonstrating much tonight, just for time, guys, but I do this a lot in class. You can also do this really cool thing when you're reading with somebody. When you get to the end of the scene, you can just repeat it. Meaning you can just take a little beat, but never get off the action and just go through it again, and then take another beat and go through it again. And then you have like 3 or 4 takes and you edit them out. Because when we see people do it again back to back, the really amazing thing is, like, if we had the time and to watch Leo do it again and do that same action as if, it's so cool because it's in the same wheelhouse, the same frame, because it's the same action and the same as if, but it will also be completely different because you're really doing it off me. And even though it's the same 2 actors, it's going to be different.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there's something about doing scenes back to back, guys, that just helps make it just this endless flow. You know what I mean? And it helps break the habit of line readings, and it helps let the lines mean anything, because it's just like, I'm playing off this person. I'm playing off this person. I don't know what's going to come next. I'm just letting it rip. Instead of the ego wants to go beginning, middle, end, powerful closing. You know what I mean? The ego wants to like do all this. And we just want to do what we're doing in life, which is just, we're letting it rip. We're just letting it rip.
Yeah. Okay? And it's definitely more fun that way. So thank you, Greg. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and you're so welcome. Thank you for playing. Excellent. So much fun. He is adorable. I agree with my wife. I absolutely agree.